All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it, do they? They don't. And this will take your breath away, actually. How inconsistent, how fake the fake news can be. Now, first, this is real. This is real news here, or real analysis. You're about to see a clip from David Martin, the CBS Pentagon correspondent, on one of the Sunday shows yesterday. You know, Putin has put his forces, the nuclear forces, on alert. I mean, that's not good, probably not necessary. It's definitely not necessary. It's crazy. Anyway, here's the CBS News Pentagon guy's analysis.
He started before the invasion threatening. He said anybody who tries to interfere will suffer consequences like they've never seen before in history. If just one low-yield nuclear weapon goes off, even if he just does a demonstration shot out in Siberia, there's just no experience for what happens next.
Yeah, that could change the world, right? Putin, he's had nuclear weapons. He might use them. Wow. This same guy, less than 2 months ago, on the same show, said this about the threat America faced. It wasn't from Putin. It wasn't from nuclear weapons. It was from Trump supporters.
When you look at what's happening right now and the folks you talk to at the Pentagon, do they believe the biggest national security threat is internal or external?
Internal, no question. No, military people will say that to you. The biggest threat to the United States of America is a reincarnation of January 6th.
I find it hard to believe that a general did that. If one of the woke generals did that, and maybe it did happen, he should have laughed and gotten out of the office, all right? If you live in the real world. And this should be a massive reality check, not only for him, but for any of his sources. We have real threats, real things we got to worry about and prepare for, not more talk about January 6th. And the Central Intelligence Agency might want to use this as a wake-up moment as well. The Central Intelligence Agency, we rely on these guys, right? They got to tell us what's going to happen before it happens. They've gotten a lot wrong for a long time, and that's going to continue. If you check out their recent recruitment plan, these are the kinds of folks they want working for the CIA.
I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me. Full stop.
Full stop. Get her out of the CIA. I don't want anybody in there with an anxiety disorder. Sounds like she's got a massive chip on her shoulder. Who cares about all that stuff? Are you good at your job? We do not have time. We don't have the luxury of all these silly games. That should be so apparent right now. And, one other thing, Fox News has lost Chris Wallace. Well, it looks like Jennifer Griffin wants to be the new Chris Wallace. Yeah, she's the in-house liberal. To the delight of the fake news, she's correcting everybody at Fox. They're writing big stories about her. Jennifer Griffin is the in-house fact checker. Jennifer Griffin scores again. When she does stuff like this, the fake news goes wild. She's not fact checking, actually. She's injecting her own opinion. And she's kind of rude about it, too.
When you say, we saw this coming, they saw this coming, I'm just wondering why that was still the only strategy deployed.
Well,
Jennifer,
Harris, let me, I need to follow up on that, because what you're talking about, if it's more than sanctions, you're talking about sending U.S. troops to Ukraine. If you had put those NATO troops into position before Putin crossed into Ukraine, you would have given him a pretext to go into Ukraine. This has been very calibrated because of the concern that Putin was looking for a pretext to go in.
Well, that's her analysis. If she wants to spin for the Biden administration, that's fine. Quit and go join the Biden administration. They might even love to have you. I hear Jen Psaki is leaving. Pretext, it could also be a deterrent. And this is what they're praising her for. I got, quite frankly, a bit of a grudge because she came out and confirmed that phony baloney story about Trump that came out in the fall of 2020. Remember that lie that he had dissed war dead and veterans? I didn't believe it. I know it didn't happen. She jumped on television to confirm the story. You can't have a story that close to the campaign with no names associated with it. Nobody willing to go on the record that it happened, because it didn't happen. All right, also this. Oh, one more thing at CPAC. Tulsi Gabbard showed up. You wouldn't expect it, right? Democrat. She was awesome. And we may disagree about lots of issues, but she's all for civil liberties and against government overreach. What the Homeland Security Department did in elevating the terror threat level, citing that folks who possibly don't agree with him as the reason, here's how Tulsi put it.
If you go on DHS.gov, you'll find Biden's Department of Homeland Security summarizes the 3 factors that led them to declare that we are in a heightened state of a domestic terrorism threat. The first of those 3 factors is, quote, the proliferation of false or misleading narratives, which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Basically, what they're telling us is you are an enemy of the state if you dare to oppose or even question the president, his administration, or his policies. Shut up, step back, fall in line, or we're coming after you.
She's right. That is a totally reasonable read of this bulletin. And let's take a look, please. It says the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Number one, it's okay to not have total trust in government institutions. That is okay. A-okay. And oh, by the way, who's going to determine what's false and what's misleading? Do we have a ministry of truth? I think they want one. I think that would be very, very dangerous. One more thing. CNN has a guy who's not crazy. At least one, he's not crazy. A couple of years ago, they did a report, and others did it as well, that Russia was stirring racial strife in this country to tear us all apart, promoting Black Lives Matter, promoting racial discord.
This new CNN reporting by Dylan Byers and Donnie O'Sullivan exposed a troubling development in the Russian metal, namely social media manipulation. The article under this headline, Fake Black Activist Accounts Linked to Russian Government, reveals that a social media campaign calling itself Blacktivist and linked to the Russian government used both Facebook and Twitter in an apparent attempt to amplify racial tensions during the U.S. presidential election. The bogus Facebook account had 360,000 likes. That's more than the verified Black Lives Matter Facebook page.
It worked. And it went on from there. Take a look at some of the tweets, by the way. I mean, really dirty, nasty stuff. And Atlantic Magazine also did a story on this, confirming much the same, the history of Russian involvement in America's race wars. Inside, it says, targeted Ferguson in Baltimore, groups like Black Lives Matter. And it looks like they had their apotheosis, if that's the right word, in the summer of 2020.